You guys aren't stupid, and you'll get it as well.
Ah, eat that, bitch.
What's up, guys? Today I'm going to start a new series of videos where I go behind the scenes of my book, The Roar of a Dragon, available on RowanValeBooks.com and Amazon.com. And you can go to BlanchardRobert72.wix.com/otherworlds and you can read the first 3 chapters for free, so you can check that out. But I'm going to play the game I Am Alive, so you don't have to look at my ugly mug for the next 10 to 15 minutes. No, I figure it'd give you some different visuals to look at while I'm talking about the book. So let's get right into it. If I can even remember how to play this game. Oh god, this place. Okay. So, the movie Dragonheart was a major inspiration for The Roar of a Dragon. And I always wanted to write a story about a man and his dragon friend. I can see, the first time I conceived of the story was probably 15 years ago. I was taking a bath at my mother's house and I had an idea for the prologue. That's all it was the prologue. I had no idea for the story itself. So I took my bath and I got out of there and I wrote the prologue, or just a couple paragraphs of the prologue. That was it. So yeah, that was the beginning of The Roar of a Dragon. I wrote it on and off for the next 10 years or so. I forgot I had a girl on my back. Oh, by the way, this game is obviously about a post-apocalyptic world. This guy here, I can't remember his name, but he's looking for his wife and child, and he met another little girl along the way. So that's what we're doing right now. So yeah, I wrote on and off for the next 10 years plus or so, but it wasn't really, it was more like a hobby. It wasn't, it wasn't an obsession at that point. It wasn't a career choice for me. It was just something I liked to do. And then in 2007, I got sick with my vestibular condition, and I had trouble walking around and doing things, so I could barely walk around my house at all, and the one thing I could do was write, so that's when I got back into that. Yeah, so now that I was having trouble doing anything, writing became my passion, and I discovered that I had a talent for it. And Simba, shut up. So yeah, the bulk of the writing of The Roar of the Dragon took place between 2008 and 2011 when I finally finished it. I believe it was December 9, 2011 I finished the book. That was definitely a big deal for me. So yeah, we'll go into chapter 1. Chapter 1 is, of course, where we meet Aiden. Aiden is, of course, the protagonist, the main character, and what the fuck am I doing here? There's nothing here. I have to try to go upstairs. Yeah, so the name Aiden, people that know me know that my youngest child is named Aiden. One could easily assume that the main character is named after my son Aiden, but that is not the case. The character of Aiden was named long before I ever got with the woman I had Aiden with. When I first started writing the story, I was obsessed with a name starting with the letter R. I don't know why. I just kept looking at Rowan was a choice for a long time, but it didn't materialize that way. And then I saw the movie The Ring, and the little kid was named Aiden, and I was obsessed. I was like,
the good spots are up higher.
I'm trying, kid, shut up. So yeah, I heard the name Aiden, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. I like that name. So that's how that came to be. The name Aiden means little fire, I believe, in Celtic. If I'm wrong, my ex Kate will kill me and let me know. My naming of the character came from that. Kate had been planning to name her child Aiden if it was a boy since she was 12. So she told me that, and I was like, oh, that's the main character of my story. It's the same name. So I was like, it was perfect. They all worked together, and so that's how that came to be. You see him on the farm. He's been alone on the farm for 2 years since his father passed away. His mother died giving birth to him, so he's truly alone for the first time. Oh, what do we got here? Press E to plant. What the hell's that? Single. Let's say it again because I didn't get all that. I don't even know what that was. Anyways, where was I? I have trouble talking about this and playing the game at the same time. Maybe this was a bad idea. Oh yeah, his mother passed away giving birth to him, so he's truly alone for the first time. Plus, he doesn't know how to interact with women. He's never had to, except for this one instance, which I'll get into later. So he's not very good at farming. He was obsessed at a young age with becoming a knight because his uncle owned a bookstore, and he read a book there. I think it's called Hero Knights of the Second Age. This book is set in the 5th age, by the way, of the world I have created. Don't ask why. I haven't really determined that yet. What the hell am I doing? Alright, I have to try to get upstairs. You suck, buddy. So yeah, so since Aiden's father died, his obsession with becoming a knight died down because he had to focus more on his farming, but unfortunately he's not good at it. He does just well enough to be able to survive, basically. The original version of the manuscript was very, very different. In the book as it is now, you basically jump in and Aiden's trying to milk a cow and he's having trouble, and you introduce him that way. In the original version, it was just written out in paragraphs. In the original version of the manuscript, Aiden died in like the 3rd chapter, and I was obsessed with that idea. I wanted him to die in the 3rd chapter, but that meant skimming through everything in the first 2 chapters, and people had trouble connecting with Aiden, so yeah, it wasn't going to work that way. I had many suggestions to write a version of the manuscript where it covers Aiden's childhood and this and that. I wrote several versions of the manuscript. And when Rowanvale Books came to me about making this into a novel, I had basically a week to take all these different manuscripts and put it down into one book, into what I wanted. So that was a very difficult process. This is driving me insane. So yeah, the original version of the manuscript was all basically, everything about Aiden's life was covered in... Ooh, what do we got here? It was just covered in paragraphs just over and over again, and you know, I totally agree. I'm glad I went back, I did it that way. I wrote Aiden's entire childhood, through his rise to the army and becoming a knight and all that. I did a lot of research in the medieval times, and I learned a lot about medieval farming at that time, and that helped out a great deal in being able to come up with just ideas into Aiden's personality and different stories about farming and things like that. So a piece of advice I can give to aspiring writers is, if you're having trouble with your manuscript, learning about things to write or trying to think of different things, just learn something new. You know, learn something new based on the story, and you might just be surprised at what you come up with. Am I back at the beginning? I probably am. Aiden mentions his father's death in the 1st chapter, and that was in one of the other manuscripts. I wrote it out completely when I was writing about his childhood, and that was very sad. I cried when I wrote it, I'm not gonna lie. Very dramatic. Aiden's father basically dies with Aiden in his arms, and Aiden in the middle of winter has to bury his father in the frozen ground. Very arduous, trying time for Aiden. Very traumatizing. So yeah, the 1st chapter just basically covers Aiden's being alone, his troubles with farming, his obsession with the knighthood, and in the end he basically says that he knows that the farm is not where he belongs. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this 1st episode. Come back for chapter 2 soon. Don't forget to check out my book. Just remember, it's Bobby's World, and you're all just living in it. Thanks for watching, guys. Who is doing this and why?
John C.
Well, no.